Hello, everyone. This is the Abundance Oracle, and today I just wanted to share a little something that's going on. We're hitting a new phase with one of my daughters. I have to be careful not to disclose too much information. I'll get yelled at. So, she's now starting to make decent money, and a lot of her friends are spending their money. And this comes across a very challenging time, even though she knows the way to grow her wealth is not buying depreciating assets. And I think it's time I need to go back and remind her. It is just very, very challenging as I see a lot of her friends spending their money on nicer places, nicer clothing, better cars, and going out a lot. They spend a lot of time and energy going out, laughing and being happy, which is good. But if you're someone who truly wants to be wealthy, you need to see that you only have a certain amount of time in the day. And if you're going to a job that you work for someone else, then you may want to reconsider spending lots of times out with your in this case, it's girlfriends. And I'm going to tell you a little story about what I used to do when I first started making decent money and I saved up my first $10,000. That was a big deal. I bought my first condominium and it was $100,000, which was woo-wee, lots of money for me back then. And it was a 1-bedroom, little teensy condominium. I got the first floor, which was great. I didn't have to carry things up and down. And I got the birthing room of an old hospital. It was so wonderful because it had so much energy and good vibes and happiness in those walls. And I actually did have a little fireplace, so maybe that was added later. Anyhow, let me tell you about the kitchen. You come to the threshold of the kitchen and you take one step, not a big step, but a step. To the left is the window. In front of you is a little counter. And if you pivoted, not take a step, you have to sort of pivot, you could open the refrigerator if you stepped back a little bit. It was an extremely small place, but I loved it and I thought it was wonderful. The person who had it before me did not paint a lot, did not make it cute. It wasn't selling very well because it wasn't cutesy. So I took and I spent time painting and cleaning. I had a lot of cleaning to do. And anyway, made it look adorable. I learned to put valances up instead of putting big curtains up, because the valance you can take to any house and you can move from house to house without a problem. I had neutral carpeting. Underneath the carpeting was just plywood, but nobody knew that, obviously. And it doesn't matter because eventually you change when it's needed. You change the carpeting for new carpeting. I had tiled, which was very lucky. I had white tile over a white metal, is it steel bathtub? Whatever they are, the way they were back then. And it was just very nice and neat. And everything basically that would have cost tons of money to fix what didn't need fixing. So I made it cute and I ended up renting it out after that. And I had a HUD loan. And I don't know if this is still true, but I could take that HUD loan and go into the bank. And I said, I would like another loan because this place is a little small and I'd actually like some place that had a regular kitchen and a bigger bedroom where you could fit more than just a double-sized bed and maybe more closet space. And since I had a renter, I could show that the lease, and I did this before I bought the new place, so I had the lease signed, ready to go, and because it was so much nicer, the rent more than covered for the mortgage. So they gave me they didn't cancel the first one, they gave me another loan for the second place. And as I learned over time, you can have up to 4 loans like that. And that's what I did. I ultimately fixed up the next place. And these are small little places. They weren't really fancy or anything like that. But I put elbow grease in. Now, how did I do that? I didn't spend my nights going out drinking. I didn't spend it out by going shopping for clothing. I didn't spend it out throwing money away. I went to the hardware store and bought paint. I went to the realtor's office. Back then, they didn't have computers. I had to sit with an MLS book and flip through the pages and find out what was for sale and everything. So I decided, you know what, I better get my realtor's license because I could save the amount of commission on a realtor's license instead of paying a realtor. Nowadays, I think that's a fabulous idea too. If you have an expensive house and you go to sell it, you're going to save tons of money, just tons of money. And it's basically, I think it was 1 or 2 weekends. It wasn't challenging at all. So not like my stockbroker's license at the time. That was more and more challenging. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry I get off on tangents. So I did not spend my money on clothes. I spent it on paint. I spent it on elbow grease. I spent it on, if I needed help, I asked one of my guy friends, can you come help me? I'll buy the 6-pack of beer and we can sit and gab while you're fixing it. And I'm giving you a 6-pack of beer and we'll sit and gab and have an evening. That was how I spent my time. And it was no time at all before I had 4 houses done. I will tell you, I learned something with each house. One of them I had to blast out rock. Little did I know, that was a big expense for me to blast out rock. And the house that I bought, Jersey Street, the other houses were very close. So it took me a long time to do that, nonetheless. And luckily, I didn't know how much it was going to cost either, because it ate up a lot of my calculated profit. I did rent it out. I made money renting it out and subsequently paid off the mortgage and made money on it. But it goes back to teach your kids about depreciating versus appreciating asset. It makes all the difference if they learn how to build wealth that will give them back dividends, give them money and good cash flow while they're young. And by the time they get to be older, those houses should be halfway paid off, fully paid off. And I had a significant quantity of houses, and I took and rolled it over into a commercial property. And once you start seeing yourself getting a little bit more money, you're saying it gets addictive, and you say, okay, I'm going to work. I'm not going to do that. And in the long run, it pays off well, it gets you into very good return. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, so this is the Abundance Oracle. Have conversations with your children, because I know other parents aren't having these conversations, because I see their kids spending money. How are they ever going to become independently wealthy if they're not building their wealth? Big question. Okay, I love you all. And if you're not independently wealthy, you also need to do the same thing. Get together with your friends, help them do something on their place, you do something on your place, have potluck dinners outside. The weather's getting better. You can have picnics, have all your friends bring one dish over, really get creative. And honestly, I think I had more fun and more excitement. And after a few years, everybody wanted to come to my house, especially while everyone was still single, because I would invite all my girlfriends over, and all the guys are like, "Whoa, what needs to be done on the house this week? What? Oh, can we come?" And they all knew they'd meet the girls, and the girls were the painter, Miss Mary. Oh my gosh, she came with like long fingernails, and I mean. We still talk about Mary's fingernails, and she was painting inside the closet. Oh my gosh. It was just wonderful, wonderful fun. It's one of our happy memories. Okay, I love you all. Please subscribe if you can. Love you. Bye.